Hello and welcome to Bonbon Island with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very, very welcome. So this is my new map. You've probably already seen the What Map review, but the What Map review is always going to be a quick flyover showing the highlights of areas. It's not a full explore, and the difference is, with this map being my own creation, I can give you background stories as to the thought process and how it led to be the shape that you see today with the features that you see in the map. Also, I will address the big question of, is it actually playable? I think it is, and I will announce today that yes, there's a poll up on the channel asking what you'd like to see next. Would you like to see another map build? Would you like to see more tutorials? Or would you like to see a city build on this map? City build is winning comfortably, so I guess I'm going to have to do a city build. Not something I've done for a while, so I'm a little bit out of practice, but I will have some fun and do that with you guys. So yes, Bonbon Island. Now, it's the first of all, Bonbon Island, the name. Obviously, there is a meme in WhatsApp when I see a island or an island that I like, that is far enough away from the mainland, is deserted enough, that looks pretty, that looks... it just feels like it could be a home for me. I call these, I give this meme name as Bonbon Islands. This is not, strictly speaking, a Bonbon Island. This is too big. I could be living on one side of the island and there could be a whole tribe of people on the other side. I would never know. Okay, I just wouldn't know. So this is not a Bonbon Island. Why have I called it Bonbon Island? Well, let me explain. First of all, if we pull the camera right the way back and angle it like this. Now, the map itself came from a height map. The main island, not this bit here, the main island comes from an island in the Philippines called Camiguin or Camiguin, but I've got a Filipino friend who reassures me it's closer to Camiguin by local, so I'm going to go with that name. I have expanded the shorelines a little bit to give a little bit more buildable space, because obviously it's a volcanic island, a tropical island, which I have converted to a temperate feel because I'm a temperate kind of boy. And again, over this side of the island, we've grabbed the 25 tiles here. I wanted to not have any wasted land given the shape of the island. So yeah, this area I've expanded up. Unfortunately, this part of the island here is a little bit out of the 25 tiles, so if you are a base game style player, don't want to be unlocking the 81 tiles, you won't be able to get access to these, but you will be able to play the game as base game, even though we don't actually have any obvious outside connections. And you're thinking, well, I'm going to have harbours. You can't have harbours until you unlock harbours and so forth. Don't worry about it. Bonbon's got you covered. We'll get to that. So anyway, yes, if you look at the map like this of Camiguin itself, this area here, zoom in on Google Earth to this area here, and you'll find the area is called Bonbon. I know. Well, when I saw that, I found the island, I thought, oh, I like the shape of that, I could use that. When I zoomed in and the word Bonbon popped off the screen, I thought, well, it's decision made, doesn't it? Yeah? Yeah, so Bonbon Island because of the Bonbon area on Camiguin, and yes, it falls into the meme, but it's not strictly a meme map. Then alongside it, we've got this island here. Now, this island here is based on an island in the Philippines called Hictop Island. It's based on solely, mostly this coastline actually, and the shape that the island is long and thin. The actual island is got more shape to this side of the island, but I wanted to keep it narrow and away from the edge of the map, so I trimmed it up. This is freehand drawn, based upon the Hictop Island, and then just cleaned up, and yeah. This is a rough inspiration, whereas this is very much taken from Camiguin Island, and then I allowed two things to shape the island. First of all, natural water flow. Natural water flow, I did if you've not seen my realistic rivers tutorial, I plop a whole load of very tiny spawn points around the top of the island, or specifically here I knew that I would be looking at having probably a river coming down here, maybe one down here, because you can see the erosion already. I didn't leave it completely up to the map. I put a whole load of spawn points around here, a few spawn points around, just to see what shape the river's brought. And also I looked at this one, but I didn't want to have too many on the main. This is the main side of the island with the start square here. I didn't want to have it too broken up with rivers, so I figured a couple of rivers would be fine. One main one which goes through the start square there, and then the secondary one. This follows the shape of the natural flow of the river, with the exception of when it gets to the really flat land and the river just the water just kind of splays out at that point. At that point I built in what I felt was a realistic S bend into there and a realistic little delta down here. There was a little bit of leakage of the lake over here, so of the river, so I figured that would be a reasonable place to have a lake. So it was all inspired by the actual natural water flow on these two rivers specifically. And then on the back end of the island we have 5 more rivers, and it's all done with the same one. I come into the mountains and go, well, looks like there would be a river in this area, so I did a few spawns, and the river down here would feed into this way anyway, so I figured here was probably a better location there, and so forth and so on. And even the islands in the rivers, yes, there's a little bit of hand tooling to make them work, but this again is inspired by the natural water flow rather than my imagination. The other thing which has kind of inspired this shape, I would say, is the theme. Now, it's a love it or hate it theme, I think, with people here. I love it. And I love it because what it does is this is the Coos Bay theme. It's what it's based upon. We've got a little bit of a theme mix with oh crikey, I've forgotten what the other two. Well, there's 2 other themes that are mixed into it that I've used for resources, for the ore and for the oil. I'll get to those in the mo, I guess. But with the Coos Bay theme, the sand textures were just too good to ignore. Like here we've got this like dirty mix. This isn't a change in how I've edited it. This is just how the sand looks at that point, and then as you move up, it will then merge through into sand again. And with shapes like this, I figured, look, I've got to use this to line the shape of the beach and then work the shape of the beach. Like here, this felt like it had to be the edge as well. And so using the natural shape of the island and then the shape of the actual texture, did the editing and the terraforming just to use all of those, and this is how we got the shapes of the coastlines. Especially around here we have got there's like a little bay around here, a little sandy cove, and again this is very much shaped in with the shape of the textures to give me these exact shapes, and just like little areas here where I saw that texture, just bringing the terrain tool just to smooth it down here and to smooth this one down here, leaving more of like a more rugged section in the middle. And again, that's roughly how the erosion will probably work. So yes, that's what the inspiration of the map was. First of all, the height map from Camigine, and then using the water flow on 7 of the 8 rivers. We'll get to this river a little bit later on, but 7 of the 8 rivers, and then using the actual texture of the theme. Now, originally, my original plan for this map was somewhat different from how we see it, and you can blame the theme for that. What I wanted to do was a multi-tiered, highly complex fantasy map, inspired by the Acania kind of vibe for a map, but I wanted to go like 4 steps beyond. And then when I started working with the theme, I started choosing the theme. I went into Theme Mixer and just went through one theme, another, until I found the ones that I liked and shortlisted them. And this popped out as the obvious choice. There was no close second. It was this one. And then I spent a load of time playing around with the resources, but that's a different story. We'll get to that. But yes, I wanted to do it as like a multi-tiered, complex fantasy map based upon a height map. When it became obvious that I was going to go with a more natural, realistic kind of map because of the theme, I still wanted to have a fantasy kind of area on the map. And this is where BonBonB came in. Now, BonBonB looks a bit broken here. This is because we haven't unlocked the tiles yet. We've got a big old flood going on over here. If I start you'll see that happening there. We've also got a dry space down here where the water isn't reaching down here. Now, don't worry about that. That is, I'm just pause the simulation again. That is not because of anything that I've done wrong, I hope. It's the way that the map editor and the unlock tiles render the water here. Once we unlock these tiles, which we'll do fairly soon, all of this flooding should stop and this will fill up with water and we will have a completed BonBonB. But yes, BonBonB, there was somebody who saw a preview picture of it and said it reminds me of Machu Picchu, and I went, of course. And so I took their, yeah, if that was you, take a bow. I don't remember who it was. I speak to a lot of people, but it was you that gave me the idea for BonBonB. BonBonB is fed by another one of these rivers. It's got a split at the top here, a confluence going on there, and then this water comes down, feeds into this, and I imagine this to be a former like religious hub or something like that, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's start off with the important stuff. I can't believe I don't know how long I've been talking already and we haven't even started with the important stuff, but that was a quick overview. The inspiration for the map, what caused the map to be this shape. It wasn't going to be a realistic map. It was going to be more like BonBonB all over, but in not quite so small zones. It would have been more slightly larger buildable kind of areas than motorbike go past my window, thank you. Right, so let's have a look at the start square. Now, start square, you can see we've got a square edge, even though it's not strictly square, and you have access to water on both sides with good water flow on either side there. We'll look at the prettiness of the river in a moment, but what I want to do first is I want to hit the escape button. There it is. That will show us the shape of the start square. You may notice a little flashing disconnected thing here. We will have a look at that in a moment. Now, how to build here. Now, if you're a modding player, you will probably have unlock everything and you'll stick down a harbour somewhere along here, maybe up this side, whatever. The shipping route goes both ways, so it doesn't matter, whichever works best for you. And then you'll be bringing people in that way. But there are people out there who want to play a base game style game with highways, and clearly there aren't none, but there are. I didn't want to have highways above ground, so those that wanted to have that realistic natural island map it'd be unspoiled. This is an unspoiled map, but if you want to have traffic come straight in and you don't want to have the unlocks or whatever, it's good to go. Let's go underground and I'll show you. So what we have underground is a little tunnel system. First of all, if we come back above ground for the moment, up here we have what I call the smuggler's cave. It's not quite perfect. I had a little bit of a last minute glitching with this, as well as some drowned trees, thanks to the Move It mod. What can I do about it? I'll try and get around to updating it, but it's 92% perfect. I'm happy with 92%. Now, under here, we have, you saw, the two highways coming in. Directly above the two highways, we've got the two rail coming in. These are outside connections dragged into the middle of the map. And then the highways connect with a national road underground, to the dirt track here. So if you were wanting to, leave that on actually so we can see the edge of the map. If you were to come down here and just start zoning in on the dirt tracks, you will automatically have traffic come straight to you. You don't have to worry about having a harbour or anything like that. Having said that, that is only going to handle a certain amount of traffic because that's off of a national road. That's all there is coming off of that. So this will only handle so much. And while a base game style game where you use the traffic from here to get up and running and then put in a harbour and then you bring in the people via the sea, so you can play a base game style game, gets you started with just these dirt tracks, which you could upgrade quite happily. What you could also do, though, if you want to have those highways coming in, is down here you have the highway over this side and the rail over this side, both inside the start square, and both just tucked in underground, marked here by these 2 points here, so you can see exactly where the highway will be coming in. You can line up with those two. You can also line up with the rail using these stops, these halts here, which is just, again, if you don't want to use those underground things, just get your bulldozer to that, or you move it mod, select that area, boom, gone, and you're free to do whatever you like. But if you want, and on my Let's Play, which I will be doing, I will be using the road and the rail, these highways. Not at first. We'll get up and running using just the dirt tracks upgraded. But yeah, these areas will be used, and I have a cunning plan on how to really make them come to their best. But for now, we'll just acknowledge that you could do it with harbours if you've got unlocks. You can do it off of the dirt tracks if you want to play a base game style game without having to have highways all over your islands, or if you want the highways, you've got them there as well, and they're there. You know, just when you're in build mode, it's there. It's not hiding. You can see there's something underground. You go underground, you connect it, and you're straight in. You're good to go. So anyway, so that is that. Let's go into, well, let's have a look at the tiles that you could buy into next. Again, fairly flat, these areas. This is slightly tiered. This is when I was going to do a tiered map. So there's like a flat area of slight incline here. Let's put this line on here. Come out of bulldoze mode as well. So you can see we raise 3 meters to 5 meters to about here. And then we've got another raise of about 5 meters to this smaller area. And then you've got another plateau again. So just edging up into the low hill areas, which they look challenging. I've actually done a few test plays now, and a lot of them are very accommodating. You do have to look and plan. But they are a lot more accommodating than you would think they would be. But yes, the lowland trees down here, any trees that look like these areas are very easy to build on. Any areas that have trees like this, I'll put these topographic lines off again. Those are your mid-range, and they're still fairly easy to build on, but you'll have to use a little bit of common sense. Like you can clearly see there's a hill and a bit of a cliff kind of face going on there. And then when you go up into the higher lands, you get into the pines, and these areas, you can get up there. Of course you can get up there, but I don't imagine they're going to be doing any big city building up that far up. So it just gives you a little bit of a guideline there. Over this side, if you were to buy out tiles in this direction, we've got what I call here Casino Beach, because I imagine this is where your casino row will be, because this is the pretty beach. Hence I put a few decorative palm trees just to hint towards this being a feature area. And then this extends all the way up to, we've got an abandoned cottage up here. Speaking of abandoned cottages, whilst we are in the start square area, I guess we've got a few. We've got that one which is out of the start square. But if we follow this river up past the broken bridge for a reason. There's a technical reason for this. Obviously this mud road does not elevate, and the connection between the mud road and an elevated road was ugly. It was really ugly. didn't look anywhere near good enough for what I was, and I know that whoever takes this map on is very likely to upgrade these roads or delete them. They're not going to leave these mud roads in place, not in the start square, not in prime building estate here. So yes, this is just like a feature area that, you know, somebody's going to come along and delete them without even thinking about it. If you follow the mud road up this way, you get to the old river cottage. You follow the mud road down here. You have the old river cottage here, right by the water's edge. Burnt down because there wasn't any water to put the fire out, and a little what I imagine to be sort of like a little garden area, a little tiny little farm area, probably where they were growing the potatoes or something, or something like that. This area as well, because of the shape of the river, and we've got these lakes here, and I've left this area up here by the lake open just to try and encourage people to want to build with the shapes of the trees. Yes, you can delete the trees. Especially, I imagine people will be deleting swathes of these trees here. And I don't blame you. Listen, it's your city. You do what you like. But yes, this area here, I imagine, is going to be cleared, and maybe for some nice riverfront housing going down to possibly a casino run over there, and so forth. Right, so you've seen the start. We haven't had too much of a look down here at the farm areas. There's not too much to say about the farm areas. We've just got a few dotted abandoned cottages linked up by the mud roads, and a few mud roads leading from there down onto the beaches, which, I mean, just look at this. Vecchio Cristo, who made this theme, is an absolute legend in my mind. It just couldn't have been a more pleasing theme. I mean, the fun and enjoyment I had putting this theme, bring this theme to life, or letting this theme bring the island to life. I just had so much fun with it. And just using scrubland around here to bring the dirt areas, which don't get the full sand effect in the sand texture. I figured that these areas here just probably would have stuff growing on it, so we went with that. Right, let's use the 81 tile mod to unlock. So 81 tile mod, there it is, unlock tiles for free. And hopefully now my splashing in BonBonB will clean up. So this overflow here, I'll start the simulation up and put it into high speed. There you go, the flooding has sorted itself out there. And if I come back down to this sort of speed here, yeah, and this is already filling up down here. So I knew that was going to be fine. Said he, not entirely convinced. Right, I guess we should do a quick map overview with the resources while we are here before we do a flyover looking at detail areas. So yeah, resources, field painting for the flat areas basically are your fertile land. There's plenty of trees if you want to do forestry. This is more resource painting in terms of the highland areas, just to bring out the colour of the rocks in those areas. But there are some areas like here, I imagine you could probably do some like ore mining up those areas there, and also there are some areas along here that could be turned into a quarry if that's how you wish to go. You'll notice oil going up the rivers, and that's been used for detailing. Let's come back out of here and back into river mode. We come down really low on the rivers and have a look at the texture of the riverbank. That texture of that riverbank is from the oil, and while it's not the highest quality of texture, that's it's one of those things you have to choose with themes. Do you want high definition textures, in which case when you pull back you'll start to see patterns, you'll start to see the squares from where it's just repeating itself over, or you can go low definition textures, which is what Vecchio Cristo's gone with, but when you pull back you don't get that repeating pattern so much. Now these beaches, many another theme which will have a higher texture of high density texture will well, it just looked like repeating sand patterns. What we've got here, it feels alive because it varies from place to place as you go along. So anyway, yeah, the oil, I went with this because under the shallowness of, if we come to here, have a look at the texture showing through the water. You're getting that sort of like pebble effect under the water, and I just absolutely love it. It brings me, it literally brings me joy to see the like the twinkling of the pebbles underneath here in what is basically just an oil texture, a regular oil texture. Okay, right. So we've seen the start square. We've seen how the all the networks come in. The shipping, I didn't show you the shipping, but I will show you the shipping is like so. So we've got shipping running down either side here, and we've got the same over this side of the map where it just follows the entire coast along either direction. Doesn't connect up with the edge of the map all the way around, so you won't actually get any ships unless you put a harbour down. So there is that. And airports, we've got an airport runway down here. This is perfectly aligned, and in my tests, popping the airport the correct facing way. You want the runway facing that way, obviously. The airport, the planes just took off and landed straight. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I've got a second air route comes across here in case you wanted to put the airport just on this side of the island, giving you that option. So so that is all that. Oh, bounced. I bounced. I'm coming back down, mother. Let's have a quick look up the river as we follow the river up. So yes, so we've got these lakes. We're in these slow flowing areas, which is what we have down here. Slow flowing areas. We've got the river reeds because they can get a grip down here. There's a nod to there being some kind of like little stream or something coming through here. There isn't, but there's a nod to it being in there because that was just naturally bleeding and leaking over, so I had to go with it. And then if we follow the river up into you get to the more rugged areas, and just like the few trees are right on the river's edge. Nothing more than maybe there might be one or two trees with their toes in the water because the water isn't obviously static. It will undulate. It will ebb and flow a little bit. But here we go again. This just area. I thought about doing tree detailing and shrub detailing on these areas, but I just felt like this just felt muddy. I did actually look because there are a few people that have commented they'd like to have seen some of the water-friendly rocks. They're too big. They're too big. Unfortunately, I've loaded up the map with loading screen, so I haven't got access to the water-friendly rocks. But seriously, they are sort of that size. And in this slow-flowing, shallow, mostly narrow river, this is a wide part. Those water-friendly rocks would cross completely across here. This isn't one of your clunky rivers. Clunky rivers can work really well on some maps, but not on this one. I just didn't want it. It didn't feel natural to have a really heavy flow river on this particular map. Just the shape of the island. Where's all that water coming from? Somebody's actually pointed out, where's the water coming from here? You wouldn't get that amount of water come. You wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. It is. You got to allow a little bit of disbelief. And I get up here, the water be like coming down off the sides of the mountains. I haven't put the lake too high up here. There would be some water coming in off of here, but yeah, not enough to have this amount. But hey, you've got to draw a line somewhere, and that's about the minimum amount of water you could have coming over there before it's basically becomes glitchy. So yeah, it's all minimums, and then allowing for water to come down, and it'd be just a believable flow. Right, so let's go for a little wander around the island then. So we've seen the this I wasn't sure about. It's like a kind of lagoon, Okay. And what nobody's commented on it, so I got away with it. But you look at the water flow on here. The water flow's coming this way, yet the sandbar is pushing out this way. With water flow that way, the sandbar should really go this way. But it was the shape of the texture of the sand that dictated that the sand actually had to come either no sand, or the sandbar had to come this way. So I got a little bit fanciful with a pretend lagoon, because again, I wanted this to be a potential major feature area for like a casino strip, and a little lagoon there seemed like it would just add to the aesthetics of the area. So arguably this would not be the case. I know, but you got to bend the rules sometimes, haven't you? You have. Then the casino beach extends a little bit further down to the dirt track dead ends here, at which point you get a little footpath running through the forests, the woods here, up and through, and then down onto this, which again somebody in the comments pointed out that there's some glitching on here, and you could argue that there is a little bit here. You can see the plate that it's paid a little bit, but it's finding that balance. If I dropped it any lower, you got potential for flooding. If I raise the land up around it much more, so it's kind of disguising it enough is what I wanted to try and do there. So yes, I'm aware you can just make out the base plate there, but you know, you have to draw a line, and after 100 hours I decided that was where the line was. Then back to the pretty beaches, and again looking at the shape of the textures. Just sold it to me where the shapes of these were. And here it just, if you have a look at there's like a line in the texture coming this way. I figured, hey, listen, there should probably be some kind of erosion there. And again here, the shape of the textures, and I would be then coming along here with the brush and just doing a very light downward pressure on here, maybe there, and here, just to help to emphasize the shape of the, because if you've got the texture in there, the texture's doing half the job. Don't just let the texture take all of the weight. Just give it a moment. Like here, it is another classic example. You can actually see, let me see if I can go into there. You actually see where I've gone, oh, hang on, there probably would be. And yeah, running around the entirety of the island going, oh, hang on, we need to do a little swoop down this way. It took a while, but you know what? I feel it was absolutely worth it. Really pleased with my end results. Right, so we're on this part of the island. This part of the island, we're a little bit away from the start square. So I think this is like probably tile number 3. If you're buying, or what is it, tile 1, tile 2. Yeah, it's about tile number 3 in this kind of direction. And this is about as far as you go before you hit solid rock. And as you'll see from the style of tree here, it is more rugged land, which means you just got to use a little bit of common sense. Have a look at the land. You should always do that anyway. So I'm going to put the lines of terrain on here. So yeah, flat land ends here. We've actually got a bit of a plateau here, and it's slightly sloped as we're going up here. So it's not even really properly bumpy or lumpy. It's just, you've got to work with the slopes when planning your areas out. And so that's kind of how this area turned out. And then we've got, oh, I've forgotten about this little thing down. Is this here? Can he see it? Where is it? Is this here, or is it somewhere a bit further up? I've lost it. I've literally lost it. That looks like it should be it there, but there's a cemetery somewhere. Anybody know where my cemetery is? Oh no, it's up here. It's on here. Right, so if we come up to this area here, there we go. I had to pull back and remember where the yeah, there is in real life Camigine a sunken cemetery. It doesn't look anything like this. This is a nod to the area. Anybody from Camigine or from the Philippines that's been to the area, I think they will appreciate the fact that there is a sunken cemetery where there is a sunken cemetery. Right by it was this volcano erupted in 18 something, and yeah, completely changed the shape of the terrain down here. And so yeah, this is more a courtesy nod to the residents and the local area. If you can't include something like that, I mean, a lot of the things like BonBonB Beach are completely fictitious, and the rivers are completely fictitious, but with such a beautiful island, which it is, and yes, it's a tropical island in real life, I feel that you should give a little bit of nod to the people that live there and have the joy of living there. Here's another one of those little texture areas where you can see I've gone, oh, the texture looks like this. I should run. There we go. Just run. Just a slight run there. Just a little dent down there. And it gives that just a little bit more belief that it's not just a flat texture painted on the side of a hill. It is actually a generated erosion. Now, trees. I got very close in the end to the 260,000, which is the tree cap. We say 250,000, but it's about 260,000. I was getting close towards it, and I had to start making some conscious decisions regarding trees. And the more I thought about it, the more that everything that had the ore texture felt like it was more bedrock than it would be like fertile land. And so those areas there, I've gone with obviously trees in the valley in between. But yes, I've decided pretty much to leave these areas completely free of trees. My initial tree painting, I was going all the way up onto these areas and just leaving like the peaks off. And I ended up, it wasn't so much to save the trees, I was just cleaning them up because they didn't look right. There has been a little discussion over the type of pines that I've used, because they are not the densest of pines. It's one of Grey Flame's trees. The problem is I found with the other sets that have been recommended to me is some of them are too tall. I couldn't possibly use the tallest. The tallest of, is it the lodgepole pine set or something like that? Is this plus 50? The tallest ones of these plus about another 50%, and it just didn't feel. It felt out of scale with the island, and so I might have a stray tree up here. Look at this, hanging onto the cliff. That's right, I'll stay calm. Arguably, I might have extended this a little bit too far over, but there are trees like edging up into these areas anyway. So anyway, yes, so the trees on the mountains, in the end, mostly I decided if it had an ore texture on it, mostly there wouldn't be trees. This has clearly got the ore texture on it because you can just see the colour is like a grey or green. Even I can see that with my colour vision issues. But this definitely feels more lowland. Plus, it just seems weird that you'd have a massive grass, green up here, and then nothing in these lower areas. So I needed that for like tree blending, for merging them, having a bit of a tree flow coming down off of the mountain valley there. And then there were whole areas, like I was finding trees on cliff edges. Thank you, motorbike. This one I don't mind too much there, but for the longest time I was going around the map going, oh, I found another one, and there'll be a whole swathe of trees on the cliff face. I think I got probably 97% of them, but there's probably one or two as I fly by now. I'll be going, oh, I missed one, look at that. Would you believe it, eh? Would you believe it? Right, so oh, hang on. Now I've actually done this from an old save. So this was actually This isn't the map as is. This has been fixed in the map. That was the last save before upload, and I've forgotten to remove that. It just needs a tiny little fix there. But yeah, the uploaded map does not have that issue on it. There's an oopsie. I thought I was loading up the uploaded map, but clearly I've missed a trick somewhere. Anyway, around the back end of the island now, we've still got some of these little sandy coves that again were just based on the shape of the sand. I had to roll with that. And because we've got the lowland trees again, this is all, so I've switched on the topographic lines. You can see it's all very flat or bordering very flat areas down here. So you shouldn't have any problems building along these areas. But again, these are a lot of these are out of the 25 tiles, but only just like, I think the line runs sort of like across here like this. So yeah, you probably want the 81 tile mod to exploit these areas. But hey, listen, you can't have everything in the map, can you? Maybe you can. Then in terms of rivers, I've got a massive diversity going on. Let's start off with this little one here. So with all of these, I've kind of gone with the same spawn. Just have it sort of like as like a soggy looking area where the water is coming off of the mountain, trickling down, then suddenly starts appearing at that point. There's got to be a point where it starts traveling above water, above land, and this is what we've got here. And then, like I say, this is the little river, the Twee River, with the last minute fix that I have failed to remove for this flyover. I'm sorry about that. And then this one, just in real terms, I can't remember exactly where it came. I think it came out here, and it just, the whole river just looked very straight. It was basically a straight line river, and kind of like little jink on the end there, and I just wanted to make it just, well, not so much S. I don't want to have all the old S bends, whatever. I wanted to keep it simple. And there's a river close to me that has this kind of shape where it gets close to the river and then pushes across and then out. I think somebody told me very recently about discordant and concordant. Maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know, but clearly it just felt a lot more like it, and also the sand here as well just felt like I could really draw this one out. Not the strongest flowing river, but it just feels again that this area here would have had some sand pushing through it quite nicely there. The trees. Now I've used a little trick here quite regularly, and again, this is not the very last save, so I'm feeling a bit dumb at the moment, but it will give me a chance to actually show you. I'll say I did this on purpose. I did this on purpose for you, right? I'm told often cover about these clusters of trees which are not terrain conforming, and if you have them, you can get some which float a little bit above ground. Now, I've used the trick on this map that you won't see here, but the trick is to get a bush, I'll move it, grab the copy, and then if it's just one or two, like here, I've used clusters of trees quite a lot along here, and yet we have got this tree here is clearly floating, and this one here is clearly floating. There might be a couple of others that are just a fraction above the ground if you're really hunting, possibly that one there. Anyway, so with these individual trees, I would go, well, you can't see that one anymore, can you? And I've got a couple around him maybe, and maybe and this is the third one over here, and just doing that is enough to hide the fact that you might have some slightly floating clusters of trees. They're still floating, but as the map maker, it's just your job to help the player suspend their disbelief, and that's all I was doing there. Yes, quite fortunate this is like not the final map save. It gave me a chance to show you that. Following this one around here, this river here has almost a waterfall effect, and there are places in the world where actually much higher waterfalls than this that flow out into the ocean, and given again it's a volcanic island, then there is a bit of a drop off that can happen in places. And so yeah, I just again I just let the river run where it wanted to run, and it spooled out in this direction. And at this point here, there was just a little drop off, and you can see what I've tried to do here, where you can see we've got cliffs here, and then I've had it kind of erode with the waterfall effect here, its way out through the sand at this point. So yeah, so again, I've tried to work with the terrain and work with the textures to make it feel as real as I could possibly do in what is basically a game. Again, over here, we've got a little bit of a river delta divergence sort of thing going on here with the island. Just the water pushing on out in 3 different directions all at once, merging back together at this point. Little lake type effects running up here. Now this is the again, this is the back end of the island. This is your main area over there. Over this side, a lot of the slow rivers I've detailed with reeds, and I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. I didn't want to clog up the system too much and overshoot, so this being the lesser important area for detailing, I left it. This area is deliberately a little bit more sparse. It allows you to do some detailing yourself if you like, but also it helps keep the tree counts down just a wee little bit as well. Heading up here, we've got some little simple waterfalls. Managed to prevent the glitching on it. It's trying to. You can see here, just trying to glitch there, trying to glitch here. Failing on both counts, meaning we get a nice clean drop, and that it looks like that was like a 2-minute job. Fighting with that for half an hour easily to get it to do what I wanted it to do. Yeah, it's one thing running with the water and letting the water do what comes naturally. Is another thing just letting it get away with this. No, you will be a waterfall, you little sausage. Then down here again, heavy tree detailing around the rivers just to show just like all the fresh water. It's the live area. Another river going up into the mountains, and then this is the equivalent of the main river but on the wrong side of the island. You can see that this is where the 25 tiles, where are we? Yep, that's where the 25 tiles would be. Actually, that shape there works perfectly. Yeah. And where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, from this height, you have got a little bit of the repeating, but who looks at their islands from this height for screenshots? No one really. And then as you get in closer, that's where you don't really notice it so much. And you don't get, like from here, the amount of mountains we've seen in the past where you just get like a repeating swathe coming down the mountain, and you just can't make it out because the texture pattern is just so big. It's beautiful, beautiful, I tell you. Anyway, yeah, so we've got a little river delta going on down here, and again, kept the rivers simple and light. Like a little bit of a lake, kind of like slow flowing lake area here, and then a little bit of a rapids. I've done a little bit of this is a bit of rock detailing going on here and here and here, just to add a little bit of interest, no other reason. And I was using these little rocks on the map already in the Pichu, which we'll get to because we've nearly done the full lap now. Right, then we're into this area. Now this area links to the Pichu. What we have down here is the essential lighthouse island, which we'll have a look at in a moment, which links up via a footpath which follows, you can actually just about make it out here actually, and there, follows to this hill, and then that hill you can follow the footpath, which you can just about make out from here as well, down to the back end of the Pichu. So so yeah, this is like a historic area. The Lighthouse Island, I played with this so much. I played with huge trees, I played with no trees. There was one point it was going to be a treeless island. There was spikes. It was one problem after another. Finally found just a shape that I was happy with. It's not as exciting as I would liked it to have been, this island, but it doesn't have to be. I know there are like extra rock detailing I could do, which would give this more of a craggy effect. But again, I didn't want to. It's a 40 item subscription for this map, and that's probably 15 more than I ideally would have liked at a top end. So I didn't really want to be adding any more detailing features, assets. So so yes, I decided just to roll with this one. I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with it. It's not as craggy as it could be. Hey, if you want to detail it, you go ahead and detail it. We have over here a tidal path, which obviously looks very sandy. I was actually going to line this with the walls that you're going to see in BonBonB very soon. Was going to line it with the walls. Decided in the end, I was quite happy with it just being just like a yeah, again, high tide, it's underwater. Low tide, you can walk across it. The footpath leads up. I just did some fence work here so that you didn't accidentally fall into the but strictly speaking, this is you don't need a footpath, you don't need a fence down here in real terms, but it's a city skylines, and sometimes you've just got to say, listen, I'm giving a nod. If this is footpath width, first of all, it wouldn't work. This ledge here has to. This is the minimum width this ledge can be before it becomes a cliff. So it has to be like this, and without the fence alongside of it, you're wondering what's going on with that. So anyway, that's what that exists there for. I decided that I would like to have some sort of feature going on, kind of inspired by the in Merrickstowe, my first map. It's my first map in Merrickstowe, where I built the sundial on the top of the tallest point. It actually works in game, so you can actually go up, watch the shadow of the sun, and you know when it's 3 o'clock, know when it's 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Was it 9, 12, 3, 6? I think those anyway, yeah. You can tell the time by that clock. I didn't want to do a repeat of that, and then I was tinkering around, and a little circle of life, kind of wheel of life, kind of came to mind, with a little bit of just a few weeds in the middle, and I think that's all that really needs up here, just to give this hill a reason, and kind of ties this side of the map up with the other side. So anyway, we've seen the path that leads across from above, from on high. Oh, this island again, this doesn't exist. This was just me looking at this area, looking at these cliffs, going, they look lonely. Unfinished wasn't the word, but yeah, I was thinking unfinished, but they were as finished as they were going to be without bringing in more rock detailing and adding more subscription items. So I figured, I wonder what would happen if we put an island in. So again, this is a freehand, not inspired by anything. I basically just drew out an island and molded it until it felt right, and that's what we have there. It's just something that makes this area, because this is a craggy area with cliffs and lots of trees, and so what I felt it just needed was something just to, this area just felt empty. It looked like a cutout that was missing something, and so we went with that. Well, I went with that, and you'll have to make do with it, because that's what I put in there. Back around to the cove. A little bit of water glitching here for a while, but managed to get on top of it eventually. Excuse me while I cough. Right, and then we've done the full loop. We've got a couple of little volcanic nipples, I guess, down here as well. Again, with the ore texture on it as well. And then you get to BonBonB. So yes, I visualize this as being a former religious location where they may have had little farms, little farming area, maybe an admin area, maybe a temple. Who knows? It's lost to history. What was originally here is the shapes of the canals kind of drew themselves out as I started doing them, and then the connections kind of like made like this end over here. This is kind of out of the canal area, but it's using the natural river area from the overflow of the canal to tie this all in over here. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We've got a couple of the canals which run into dead ends, and I challenge you to build these canals, these started canals, without my special asset. And that special asset are these walls. These aren't the vanilla walls. They look like the vanilla walls because they are the vanilla walls. But I've dropped them into the asset editor. Because what happens with, if you put down the vanilla wall, it flattens the terrain, much like the burnt out abandoned house that has like a base plate around it. These have a base plate that extend a little bit out on either side. So if I was going to put this, or if I was going to try and sink this into the canal, it's going to push down the terrain underneath it. So I went into the asset editor. I discovered how you would make this work without flattening the terrain around it. Didn't take very long to work it out, to be honest with you. Not really rocket science, but I did it. And we've used these vanilla looking walls that aren't vanilla, with plenty of these rubbly bits to say, hey, listen, it's falling to pieces, you know. it's a wreck. It's a wreck. This area was it just wanted to flood, so I played with it. Sometimes you just let the water do what it wants to do, and then you go, well, okay, there's not many places where the canals completely overlap the and this is one of those areas I thought, no, look, if you're going to flood that area, I'm gonna sit with it. I'm gonna let it. And so I let it. Some places, yeah, we've gone double wide on the walls. It just felt like it was a little bit more interesting. Got plenty of these footpaths dotted around here that enable you to and also look at the grasses. I put a little bit of grass detailing around here. This is vanilla. Nothing to subscribe to there. I figured we've got them, I might as well use them. I try not to go too crazy because I could have covered the entire map with them and it would have looked horrendous. But yes, we've got plenty of these canals leading down. We'll have a look at this temple-y area in a minute. Some of the canals then open up into like little waterfall areas, and again I used these are the custom little custom rocks. I think this is Avania. I could be wrong. Little custom mossy rocks there, looking really cool. And then on either side, because the water was spilling and splaying, these are the vanilla flat rocks, and they actually help to contain the waterfall to the width that I really want it to. And so this took a lot of playing. As you can imagine, playing with water this shallow and this slow running, getting the water to do exactly what you want it to do is a nightmare. At one point, on this rock set here, let me grab you and grab that. At one point, because I was looking at this area here, I thought how interesting this was, and it'd be pretty cool if I pause the simulation to maybe pop again maybe something like this in here, or maybe a little bit further up, maybe about there. So yeah, something like that would add a lot of interest. It interfered with the water flow so much that I ended up like here. There we go. Actually stops the water flow there. So so there were areas where I just couldn't do the let me come back out of here and we'll bulldoze you. So there were areas I would like to have. Can we come out of what is? Hang on. Oh, I've lost myself. I've lost. Oh, there we go. Back out there. Thank you. Yes. So we've got a little bit of flooding now because of what I've just done to show you. But yes, I had some ideas for the vanilla rocks to add more. In some places, the vanilla rocks really work, and like here, I wanted it to be a wider waterfall around to this area, and this helps to push it across here. And then there are other, and up here where you've got the we have got the vanilla rocks on either side, and it's helping to contain it. And there are other points where I could not use them at all because of the shallowness of them. And then as we come down to the front of the, I haven't shown you the back door yet. So this is the front door of the peak tube. Slow the simulation down again. And so yeah, just a tiny little bit of vanilla detail. This is all vanilla stuff. You don't need to subscribe to anything to get that. And then that leads across to would it be some sort of guard tower or check-in point, or wherever you put your religious sandals when you enter. I don't know. Make up your storyline. It's up to you. And then just little shapes like this. Yeah, how would this have been before it demolished? Only the original builders would know. But it just seemed to fit that area. It just needed like something curved in that area, and so I rolled with it. And then you've got little areas over here. Like, one of my favourite areas in the entire map is just this point. I've so many screenshots of this through the entire build. That I've got a vanilla, a custom rock down there. There are a few of these dotted around, but not many. And then this area is, well, it is what it is. I decided to have a little feature area in here because it just again, all 100% vanilla here, but it just not the trees obviously, but the props and such. It just kind of makes the area feel a little bit more lived in and a little bit more believable, I think. My opinion anyway. Up this area here, this feels like there may have been some sort of farm or community area here, where you can see where it's all been cleared. You can see the shapes of the walls as well. And then up the top end here, I mean, maybe this was a fishing area. Maybe. We've got another one of those little, one or two of these rocks just dotted here and there for extra detailing. But yeah, with the stream coming down off the mountain, got this little area here. Maybe this is where they would bathe. I don't know. I just know that it's very pretty, and I'm very happy with it. And then I did promise you we'd have a look at this potential temple area. I have no clue, but I just worked it in with the shape of the land. This again was the natural shape of the land. I worked the canals into the natural shape of the land. And this is how it kind of came through. I wanted to keep them straight as well because of obvious technical reasons. And then yeah, little areas here where I've just gone with some walls, and then this in the middle, overgrown, some form of tower or something. Used to be there. No, don't know. It's a hint to a former thing. And then we've pretty much done the full loop because we're back round to the lowland going up to the secondary river there. What we do have though, if you come out of the peak tube haven't shown, let's go to the back. Let's go to the back door. Let's do that before we go any further. Right, so if you follow the footpaths and the bridges and such, it brings you up to this little feature area here with a little bendy bridge, which takes you over to this little feature area here across the final waterfall there. Again, the shape here makes you wonder what would have been here. Maybe a lookout point or something. Not sure what you'd be looking out for, because there wouldn't have been much of a view of apart from what's coming up here. Maybe it was to keep an eye on, let's say, if the monks or whoever was on here would bathe or wash their clothes here. Your life issue a lifeguard point. That's what that is. That used to be a lifeguard point. Anyway, once you've this is like the lifeguard point and a check-in area, and then there's a little door that leads through to a little feature staircase, which I didn't put in until it was one of the very last things I put in. The one thing I was really excited with the fence. This is again vanilla fence. Discovering that this was terrain conforming. This made my week. It really did. So anyway, yeah, we've done a little bit of a slightly overgrown fence there, made with obviously the bridge pillars, and then that path that then leads all the way down to the wheel of life that we've seen. Right, we've kind of almost finished doing the full circle of the map now. Yeah, back to the front door of the Pichu. So you go out the front door here, follow the footpath down. It takes you to the pier, which is of course made with plenty of bridge pillars, and I really made this really super compact underneath, and then just turned some sideways on for texture. And so we have that, and yeah, it's a nice boat. I think this is Mick Crosshill who made these. He's got a nice little selection. I'm sure that was Mick Crosshill. Anyway, yeah, it's a floating prop, and it was really only because this area lacked something. I needed to do a little bit more detailing on the shoreline to make this feel more real, or a single item prop here, which I've used another one over on the Hickdop Island, Airport Island. And so, yeah, just a couple of those dropped in. You don't need to subscribe to the yacht. It just means that these two yachts will not appear. Right, Hickdop Island, or Airport Island, as I see it. Say, freehand drawn. Just this coast here is roughly the shape of Hickdop Island. This side's eroded away. Is mostly sand on this side over here. So you could do whatever you like down here, I guess. More, just, I mean, I'm not sure that this would be, if this becomes the airport island, I'm not sure you'd really want to be coming to the beach down here. Because, you know, I mean, I know there are airports by the beach, thinking Gibraltar. But yeah, there are airports by the beach, and Tenerife, I think, is similar as well, isn't it? Never been. The old ex-wife had been, but I'd not. I didn't go. I let her go on her own. I think she was very happy about that. Not at first, but yeah, you're going to have fun, love. Off you go. Take your mother. Anyway, we have the runway. Now, I've used the vanilla solar panel things here as kind of markers, and again, because of the way that the game works, you just get a little bit of not quite perfectly alignment on some of them. I'm very, very disappointed. These were perfect, and then move it or whatever just jinx them out. Very frustrating. Again, I recommend making it so that your planes come in from the top end, not from this end. Oh, sorry, a line. Well, you recommend that. That's the way the planes will be coming, from that way, from the top. So yeah, align your airport so that it faces that way. Otherwise, you will have lots of funny stuff going on. And then one thing that and again, in terms of move it, and I have fixed this, and I have fixed this, and I have fixed this. But these are part of a billboard, and I figure they look too good not to be used together as a road barrier. Fixed it, saved it, upload it, glitching it, fixed it, save it, upload it, glitching it. Here, why are these two this way around? Why are you not there? And then I fix it, save it, upload it, and it glitches again. So the one thing I learned here is, strictly speaking, I should use a proper custom asset or make a proper custom asset using them. But I wasn't able to, in the time, work it out to do that. I think it's a small price. I think once these are moved in the save game, they will stay stuck where they should do. And if they don't, then, well, just bulldoze them. I recommend bulldozing anything that I've built. You know, I recommend it. So, yeah, in terms of detailing down here, yeah, that's the one thing that was grumbling. I also had a much better fence around here using billboards. Really lovely fence. And for the same reason that these were glitching, that was glitching really badly as well. And even now, these fences are not perfectly aligned. They're not exactly where I left them. And so there's, yeah, I'm not very happy with the way the game has treated my map build, with the fine detailing in those areas. And even this 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 office area, this is not how I left it. Seriously, what are you doing to me? I had it like that, had it like this. These are, of course, toll booths. You knew that. I have it like that, and I can't even drop it. Anyway, there you go. So yeah, that's how it was. And then you've seen how it ended up. Anyway, you get off your airplane, you get yourself a soda and a little bit of tasty something. Maybe check in at customs there. I guess that's what that is a customs office or something. We have the trolley car, which will then take your luggage down to the harbour. As you're going down to the harbour, yes, you've got the air control tower, and it's very windy, so it would seem. And even this isn't even, look, this is not how I had it. I had it absolutely perfect, something like that. And yeah, the game just moved it. Darn new game. Yeah, I couldn't put a gate on it. They're not subscribing to a gate to put a gate on something that really doesn't matter. It's going to be bulldozed by the first person. Then we have the dirt tracks that lead down to the end of the runway. I think the runway was about 1.5 kilometers long, which is about normal, I do believe. And then again, we've got the solar panels down here to mark it out. As you're flying in, you get like the reflection. You go, oh, I can see where we're landing now. Put in a little lake down here as well. Again, the island was freehand. The lake, I was just looking at imagine this island without the lake, and I'm looking at it going, needs something. Something's missing. And now you're looking at it, you're going, well, obviously the lake should go there. Yeah, it took me a long while to work out that it just needed some water on the island. So yeah, we went with the lake. We went with the lake, you know. An abandoned cottage there, dirt track leading down to the beaches, one on either side. Lots of lowland trees and the scrubland trees leading up to the beaches, which you'll find consistently across the map. Everybody's favourite factory. Had some fun with this, actually, getting here. For example, vanilla trees, yeah? And I've got custom trees. Yeah, I've done that very same trick again. Look, there it is. Vanilla tree. Hide it. Hide it with a custom tree. Looks much better. Done the same around the side, and there's a couple of small trees or bushes on the end here, which look horrible. And then I've got the fence running along the side, the back here. Doesn't go right to the edge because the edge, the key forces this to drop away. They've got the vanilla pier. You can just see a couple of poles there. This is actually from the vanilla pier, which if I do that, you can see it just disappears. But most of the sins of the vanilla pier, they look like they could be, for whatever reason, actually there, yeah? I think so. But most of the sins of it are hidden underneath the factory. And what you got here is it's a perfect height here. So you can come in, you walk through, down a couple of steps, and you can get onto these low boats, low yachts like that. And then the higher key here is where you would dismount from or debark from the big boats, in theory. Obviously, you put a proper harbour down though. We'll worry about that when we actually get to the map build itself. Anyway, that concludes, I think, the flight. In terms of the runway, I have used the ore texture just to make it look like it's like compact dirt. It's not just a grass runway. It's a compact, cleared dirt, solid, like a clay. Clay's the word I'm looking for. It's meant to look like a clay runway. Somebody in the comments said that you wouldn't have these lights alongside. I disagree. I absolutely disagree. Having done a little bit of research, I found clay style runways with lights on them in certain parts of the world where there is, they're not going to tarmac it. They don't have enough flight coming in, but they do need to have it lit. And so I can vouch for there being lights. I mean, I might have overdone it a little bit with the lights, but there's still a good distance between these, you know. I think it's finding the balance with these things. It's always finding the right balance for what feels right for you, and then let the community decide whether you are right or wrong. Apparently, I'm wrong, so I'll take it on the chin. Take it on the chin and cry. Right. So what will happen with the Bonbon Island city build? I think I'll probably do it as a regular build to start. I've got ideas. I think we'll have this actually is an industrial area down here. Probably between these two rivers. Have this as industrial. About this area here, and then probably commercial lakeside shopping and leading into like a tourism area down here, and then pushing up to residential into these areas, and then pushing out residential to these areas. So I think that's probably how I'm going to do it. The trick I'm going to do, I think, with the I'm still waffling, aren't I? Still going. With the highway is so we'll start off with the vanilla traffic down the dirt roads. Once everything starts getting established and we start getting some trucks rolling, because that is going to happen, that's the point I'm going to connect up with the highway. What I'll do is I will put a tunnel entrance on this side. So this just looks like a tunnel going down and underneath the river, emerging over, say, about here maybe. And but it'll also hides the outside connection to the smuggler's cave. So I think that is how I'm going to handle a lot of my industrial freight by sticking to this area being in industry here. It'll even have like we're even going to have the rail down here as well, so we'll be able to even have a freight just straight in and out. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. How I'm going to connect this to the other side of the island, I am not entirely certain right now. Because up and over here, I mean, maybe some switchback type effect coming down the side of the mountain. It's going to be fun. That's assuming we get this far. Depends how many people watch this thing, when I start building on it. Yeah, if I'm only getting like 50 views, there seems very little, if no point, in doing it. We'll see. we'll play it. We'll play it by ear. I'm imagining I'll get more than 50. I do hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Anyway, that's Bonbon Island, or Bonbon Islands, as they are. Now you've seen it all. You've seen the thought process behind it. You know that the entire map was supposed to be like Bonbon Pichu. That would have taken me a year. Just doing Pichu took me long enough. And yeah, so looking forward to that one. Don't be expecting a city build immediately. There are a lot of things I need to set up first, and of course I've still got the daily content to pump out as well. So, but yes, there will be a city build coming, and that's something to look forward to, I feel. Anyway, I think we're done. I think. Thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. Join me Monday to Saturday for What's Map, finding you the best map for your next city build. It is this one, by the way. But if you don't like this one, we'll find you another one. Sundays we have the chart show, where we look at the top 20 items of the Steam Workshop every single week, and then we do other stuff as well. So join me for that. I've been BonBonB. You have been very, very welcome. Thanks for bearing with me through my entire self-indulgent waffle. And I'll see you very, very soon.